Hello, dear watchers. I'm getting tired of saying "ladies and gentlemen" every time, so I need to put something in the mix. So watchers is the next term. Richard, we
What
released
up,
the last.
humanoids?
What up, Chaperone fans? Uh, but Richard, we released the last episode, and it was out of date immediately.
I mean, we did expect that to happen, to be
Yeah, we
fair.
did, we did, we did say that immediately at the start, and it turned out to be true immediately.
Yeah.
So, for those that somehow do not know, Sergei Jakirović has been sacked by Dinamo after the 9-2 loss to Bayern and the loss to Hajduk and the loss to Turnia in a friendly in the international break and the draw to Rijeka. So, you know, thoughts?
Well, it got worse.
It got
Um,
way worse.
I think what we've seen is, I mean, I hesitate to say they didn't have things planned because it seems like they did have things planned in terms of who they wanted to come in. It's just they didn't have things planned in terms of having had the conversations of, if we
Yeah,
actually make a change at this time, will you come in? Because we've obviously seen Bielitsa seems nope. At this point, anyway, Niko Kovac, as soon as he was straightway linked, nope.
yep,
And Sergio Conceição, again, said we've got an offer for him, meant to come in, didn't come in.
nope.
So, yeah, we're not normally by this point, particularly when it's a major club, you generally have a pretty good idea of who they're in for.
Yeah,
And I don't think there is any real idea of who they're in for at this point because everyone that's kind of been at the head of the betting has been quite quick to disassociate themselves from it. So we mentioned Bishan has as well. Not too sure why they'd want him back, but
yeah.
um,
Everybody's been mentioned, I think.
yeah. So
Anybody that can be mentioned has been mentioned.
yeah, so you're down to either your fifth or sixth choices, or you're doing something creative, which is obviously what they tried to do with Conceição, but he wasn't interested. And maybe that's what was on offer.
Yeah,
Sorry, in terms of what they were offering him, or what he's taken a look at the club and thought, maybe not.
maybe not.
It's quite difficult to know exactly what's going on, really. And
Yeah,
obviously, they need to make something, have someone in place before Monaco. I think that was always the aim, but I think we're probably at a point where it doesn't seem like they're going to have anyone in place before this weekend's game. Not to mention the cup game, of course.
yeah. The cup game is tomorrow against Banjalovic. I mean, hopefully they can do it. Hopefully they can win it. But it would be funny if they didn't. But still, I mean, I the whole so Jakirović obviously is now an ex-manager, but the I think we also got to notice that he had two times where he could have, and you can argue should have been sacked before, after the Balkani loss and after the Lokomotiva loss.
Mm-hmm.
After
Yeah,
Lokomotiva loss, obviously the players riled up and said, "Yeah, we're behind them." After the Balkani loss, I think the board just gave him a second chance. But the obviously the new board, because he was under the other board, the before the new one for the previous two, and I think the new board when they came in straight after they won the title. So I think they
mm-hmm.
were probably like, yeah, let's just wait for him to slip up and
Yeah.
let's get somebody that we want. So I
Which
think,
is, I mean, it's understandable
yeah,
because they're not the first new board to come in and play. But we don't want to fire a guy who's just won the title. We're going to give him
and the
a little
cup.
bit. Yeah, we're going to give him a little bit, but show no mercy. I
Yeah,
mean, like sort of indicated on last week's episode, I feel like the run of form that they were on prior to, so directly after buying, not to mention this weekend, was certainly no worse in terms of level of result than we saw against, like say, Balkani. It was probably no more dangerous than it was after the loss of Lokomotiva at the start of the year. And he turned it around. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still on that where, I'm not sure it's the right decision.
Only if they get a better manager in, but by the looks of it, probably not.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to look creatively, it seems, which, I mean, I don't know if that's because they were always going to look creatively or if that's because they're trying to react to things. You get the impression it's because they're trying to react to things because choice 1 and 2 didn't want to come, which is a problem in a few aspects, not least that whoever does actually get the job, you're coming in knowing, actually, they didn't really want me. They wanted Nico Kovac. They wanted Gorica. They wanted this, that, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, it's there's going to be a credibility issue whenever a new manager comes in, and there's a results issue that's more pressing right now.
Yeah, very pressing. But it's the first time that the new board has had, any kind of issues. Everything else has just been wins and wins. I mean, Germaniak has reported, again, it's Germaniak, so take it with a big pinch of salt, that Bielitsa is the front runner and that they are currently discussing the financial side of his deal. Index has reported that they have they have 3 names, one of which is a foreigner to our Croats. So that's all we got to go off of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm shooting out with Bielitsa is that it wasn't, or whatever had gone on when he left the club.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but that they were just trying to basically not hire him.
Yeah.
It feels like he will be very much the obvious candidate if they're willing to entertain him, if he's willing to entertain them. But I don't get the impression at this point that the situation is dire enough for them to be like, yeah, we're just gonna bridge over all that, all of that river of bad blood that happened back then. Yeah, my own thought when it happened was Tomic, I think, as a sensible option.
Yeah, he's still a free, like he's still not managing anybody.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously been in UAE, I think, the past couple of seasons.
Yeah,
and his record there is absolutely fine. So there's no reason not to go for him in terms of his CV. I think it's just whether or not it'd be seen as a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's probably a better manager, but then again, we haven't seen him in the finals since Rijeka.
Yeah, and he was pretty good there.
Yeah, got them to a cup.
Yeah, so there's no. I mean, yeah, I think that's me putting that there as a safe option. I think it's fair to say. And I think if he ended up with the job, you'd be like, okay, well, he's 6th or 7th on the list of who he actually wanted, but it's a safe pair of hands. There's nothing too attractive about it. I think if they are going to go abroad, that obviously brings into it a whole lot of different names that could be involved, and you can't even really speculate on it because you don't know.
Yeah, because we don't know. They could be looking at Poland, Belgium, wherever.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, we're not in the know.
Obviously. What else? I mean, Željko Sopic has been mentioned, obviously, because he got sacked by Rijeka. So if you're managing Rijeka, you're supposed to manage Dinamo next.
Yeah.
So Radomir Jalović, get ready.
Yeah. I mean, even then, I think you could hardly blame him if he wanted to take a little while off, or at least just not be in that league. It'd be a bit tasty the next Dinamo Rijeka game if they do hire him.
Yeah, he did say in an interview after he got sacked that he wants to take a bit of time off, but if he gets a good job, that he's gonna take it.
I mean, I think that's the thing. When you see almost anyone get sacked now, they tend to be, yeah, I'm going to take a bit of time off,
Yeah, and then
bit
next
of
week
R&R.
immediately back.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know. It might be, with the having said Conceição that that Portugal's a market they're looking at. I don't know
Yeah,
and don't know the market very well. Obviously they have plenty of people there who I'm sure are decent, but you know, how closely do they know that market? That's
yeah,
TBD. You I think Conceição had managed Porto, so that's a very good record, but he's not managing them anymore.
nope.
I think they just need a safe pair of hands at this point.
Yeah,
And I could see them. I haven't mentioned much. If they wanted to go for that sort of not keep it abroad, but very, very safe pair of hands, a real unsexy appointment. David Moyes is available.
listen, he got West Ham a Conference League. He got
Yeah,
us a European trophy. So I mean, Lopetegui is not doing great. So I think just goes to show how hard it is.
yeah, but I mean that's probably the sort of figure they'd look for, I'd imagine. And while sort of joking that it'd be Moyes because obviously money.
Well, yeah,
Still,
but also you gotta take the Real Sociedad, his term at Real Sociedad into account.
yeah, yeah. But that's possibly the sort of figure they'd be looking for. Someone who is just going to come in and play unfashionable football. Someone who maybe needs a bit of revitalization in terms of their career. Someone who's not stepping down, but you'll think like Rafa Benitez, that sort
Yeah,
of person who's coming off quite a punishing phase in their career, but if they get it right, they'll get it very right. But I mean, it is at this point, it is real just guesswork, isn't it?
yeah, we can just guess because nobody has. I mean, obviously, we already mentioned the names, but Bielsa, for example, has been mentioned that he's going to join Dinamo. That was a lot of bollocks. Then again, Germaniak this morning reports that he's the front runner. So it's really, I just think most of the media is just like, you know what, this guy's the front runner, and the other media are like, nah, this guy is the one.
And I mean, you see that a lot around this sort of situation in terms of
Yeah, whenever somebody's searching for a manager, you just get 10 names just out of the hat pool. Matthias Kek immediately, if Hajduk, Rijeka, or Dinamo Saka manager, he's immediately in the conversation.
yeah, but I mean, even a lot of it's agent talk, but also I
Yeah,
think when you see that range of names, obviously Bielitsa and Keck are two very different coaches
yeah,
in terms of their philosophy. Conceição is a very different manager in terms of his philosophy as well. That immediately says to me, from if that's partly coming from the club, that they don't know what they're doing. They've
yeah,
done it, and you're making a change to make a change. You're not making a change because it needs to fit into with
yeah.
a
But
certain
I don't
plan.
think it's true for Kek always. But whenever Kek
Yeah,
pops up, I'm like, he's in the job he loves. He's managing his country, and he's just come off a great tournament. So please
exactly.
pipe
Yeah,
down.
why would you leave that job for
Yeah,
Dinamo? Um, I think even though people would quite any Dinamo fan would naturally think Dinamo is a bigger job than Slovenia. International management and club management are very different, and
yeah.
also he can go to the Euros, he can go to the World Cup.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I mean, it's his country.
or you can win a INL. Well, he's already got one of those, and get
True.
rattled a few times in Europe. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, you probably get a bit more cash from Dinamo, but
Yeah, I mean, again, at his stage of his career, it's
yeah,
not really going to matter too much, is it?
no. I mean, yeah. Anything else to mention about the Dinamo manager situation?
Well, I suppose it probably leads quite naturally into what happens when Dinamo don't have a manager and play a football?
Yeah, when they have a caretaker who was the assistant to Jakirović, so nothing's changed. Sandro Perković, Jakirovic's assistant, is now the caretaker, and they got, I think it's fair to say, battered by Slaven 4-1.
Yeah, and it was very. They could have lost by more.
Yeah, they could have lost. They had chances. To be fair
Yeah.
to them, they had chances, but Slaven had more chances, I think.
Yeah, it's a continuation of Bayern, really. Once
Yeah,
Dinamo started to fall apart, they fell apart.
they
And
absolutely fell apart.
yeah, a lot of what we said last week about the Bayern game really does apply to this one as well. Now there are things in this Osasuna Blue that won't happen again. How many times do you see a side concede 3 goals where it's come from a blocked /saved shot?
Yeah,
Just come straight from the
that's
person.
what I want to talk about. Dinamo's defense. Whenever somebody shoots, they don't move. They're just like, okay, let's see what happens, and then they're just standing. And I think the normal rule, like even I know it. I haven't trained football. uh, you follow the ball, no matter what the
Yeah,
shot. If somebody shoots, you follow the ball.
it's that second phase.
Yeah,
I mean, both the first, if you talk about the goals individually, sort of like the first 2 goals, they're coming from wide areas, blocked/saved,
yeah,
and then it comes into a central area, and it's not an easy finish, but it's a very decent finish for who it's landing on. The third goal, which is the one that's
Dolchek.
Dolchek is the Akpiponu block shot.
Yeah,
Again, it's what are you doing to break that space down? And
nothing.
you sort of look at not just the defending of the immediate periods around the goals, but also of the lead up of the secondary, tertiary assists.
Yeah,
And the same things that we were complaining about, well, maybe not complaining about, but the same things we were pointing out against Bayern were what we were seeing against Slaven Belupa. It is players who don't need to be doing the things they're doing, getting tight, pushing out from the line, things like that, doing them because they don't have confidence in the positioning.
yeah,
They don't have confidence in their teammates. They don't have confidence in general. They're over defending,
yeah.
and the result was space. The result
A
was
lot of
that
it.
the result was that when Slaven broke, they always had something to run into. They always
Yeah,
had areas in which they could drop back into. Yeah, they've got good finishes. But I think the worst was, I'm sure it's the second goal, where Nevisic
comes out.
It comes absolutely miles out.
Yeah,
It's pretty
comes
much
all the way to to outside the box because was it Dolchek or who was it? I think it was Dolchek that was on the right side then, who
yeah.
comes for the ball and just comes all the way to the right side of the 16 of the box, and Nemestic just follows him for some reason.
Yeah, why again? Why are you doing that? And we know Nevisic knows what he's doing. Is a very very good goalkeeper, but
Yeah,
again, you
I mean
look at that, you think
everybody is a good player. I mean they've shown it in August, but in September it just looks like it's all falling apart.
it's a lack of confidence, and when you don't
Yeah,
have that confidence, you are trying to do everything yourself, but you
yeah,
can't do everything yourself because it ends badly, as
yeah.
it obviously did. Now, I think when you look at that, you also then sort of look back at the other games in reflection. Go back to the opening day against Istra, and Istra had similar in terms of they very explosive side up front, but they got themselves into space. They just weren't ruthless. They didn't have the look of the ball dropping. When the save was made, it was coming to another Slaven Belupa foot against Istra. It was going wide or it was being pushed wide or whatever. And you start looking at that in reflection, like, okay, actually, is this just teams have learned how to hurt Dinamo? Possibly. I mean, we'll see this
I
weekend
mean, yeah,
against
it's
Lokomotiva.
just one. This is just one game against Hajduk. Hajduk took like one of the two chances they really had. Bayern, I mean, I think we need to speak more about that. But yeah, I mean, just the whole Maya especially, Maya and Ogivara on the left side, they just looked lost all match. None of them were ever in the right position or ever made the right decision in defense.
No, say, I mean, even Misic, I think, had a bad game.
Yeah,
Just whenever you're looking at him, he's running, he's sprinting places to try and get back into position, and that's not something you really associate him as having to do that much. Yes, he has to do quite a bit of work, but he's not really looking like he's in, oh shit, I need to
yeah,
cover things mode. And yeah, I think the other thing that I had noticed, and I just like, I think Dinamo on another day wouldn't do this. It was in the first half when Agapone got booked.
oh
And
yeah,
I think Pekovic got booked at the same time. But
yeah,
Pekovic just barges into the back of him trying to
yeah,
rattle him. Now, fair enough. We've seen plenty enough of Agapone to know that you can get under his skin.
yeah, yeah. You absolutely can.
But you're Dinamo. You don't really need to
Yeah, he got a
be
yellow.
indulging in that. Yeah, it's very unlike them. I mean, maybe it's not that unlike Petkovic, but it's very unlike the side to get themselves involved in that sort of thing when they don't need
Yeah,
to.
but they were obviously they're obviously not in the right mental space, and they just need somebody who's gonna manage that, get
Yeah.
them on the right track. But Perkovic isn't that guy, and obviously because he's just the continuation of Jakirović, but just not Jakirović.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be quite honest, they wouldn't have lost 4-1 if Jakirović was in charge.
Probably, I think.
Might have won
And,
4-1.
uh, and also the first goal from Slaven just before the halftime whistle. If that doesn't go in, I doubt Slaven can go on and do something in the second half.
Yeah, because again, you're changing the mindset so
Yeah,
quickly. But I mean, like it was said, it could easily have been 5. It maybe even could easily have been 6. Dinamo
yeah,
were
because
the
I mean the
rattle.
defense was just leaking everywhere. Even in the
Yeah.
first half, Dinamo after their goal, actually before and after their goal, they had a short moment of dominance before the goal, but like before it, you saw Dolcek and Grgic getting loads of space on the wings, and then after the goal, even more.
Yeah, it's it's going to be difficult for someone to come in and sort that out because this is, okay, it's an isolated result, but it's a historically bad result for
Yeah,
them. When did they last lose 2 league games in a row? That's, I think, 3 years ago. When did they last concede 4 in a game, in a league game? That
yeah, that
was
was also
Lokomotiva. I think it was 5. It might even be 2018.
could be.
Interestingly, it's Lokomotiva 4 beat them 4-1. The game before that, Rijeka had beaten them 4-1 as well.
Yeah,
So, maybe Lokomotiva, if you're Lokomotiva, you've got quite a
you got some
convincing
hope.
win coming up. Yeah, I mean, for Slaven, this is the best result they ever had against Dinamo. I mean, generally beating Dinamo isn't
Yeah,
something they
that's
often
obviously.
do, but scoring 4 against them, I mean, that hasn't ever happened. I think it's fair
Yeah,
to say might not even have scored 3 against them. Just looking at the head-to-head, they've won twice against Dinamo.
yeah.
Now.
And I mean Mario Kovacic. I mean the Slam wasn't bad at all. Like the goal
No.
they conceded, yeah, Cordoba beat his man and just put it in the box. Nobody was on Petkovic, and I mean that's what happens when you leave Petkovic alone in the middle of the box. But I mean, then again, I can't really put much praise on Slaven because Dinamo was just, as I said, just leaving so much space, especially on the wings, and
Yeah.
they just used it.
I think with how bad Rezaim Dinamo's defense were, and they were, the changes that they tried to make to change the game were not to shore it up.
Yeah,
You look at who they swapped the entire midfield.
yeah, they did.
Whereas you've got on your bench, you've got Torrente, you've got Fifa Catering, as and Oliveras as well as defensive players who, if you think, okay, we're having a bit of a mare back there, let's just swap someone on,
Yeah,
or even we're having a bit of a mare back there, let's swap Stojkovic for Dante, go 3 at the back, and ask some different questions, then, but they didn't do that. It was passive almost.
Yeah. Speaking of Oliveras and Torrente, we've yet to see Oliveras in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Torrente had played one game and that's it. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully they can play tomorrow in the cup.
Yeah.
And hopefully it goes well, because if Dinamo somehow loses to Banjale, I mean, yeah, that's gonna be the worst run in so many years for Dinamo.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly the worst run in recent history.
Especially in the last, I think, decade even more.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a 3 losses on the run, not that long ago, but it was Champions League. It was like Milan, someone, Chelsea, something like that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And fair enough.
I mean, yeah.
if those are 2 of the sides that are beating you in that little run, but yeah, it's not the case this time around. It was
No.
Slaven.
Yeah, this time it was Slaven. Yeah. I mean, what else? Srepolia Nagbakporno, amazing this game.
Yeah, I put him in particular.
Yeah.
They played him very differently to what we've seen from much of the season. He's tended to be just, I don't want to say just a midfielder, but he's tended to be used as kind of a central midfielder. Whereas in this one, he was very much a holding midfielder. But because he was a holding midfielder, Dinamo didn't push up to him. So he ended up, you sort of look at his heat map, his previous heat maps have been very, dull centre of the pitch. Now sort of a blob there and a blob there, because he was able to take the ball and was also able to, either make his progressive passes, of which he made a few, or he was just able to carry it forward relatively unopposed, which you can't do against you can't do against any opponent, but you certainly can't do against a really big guy who, when he gets up ahead of speed, is quite hard to get in the way of. And we saw once he had that confidence, he turned up on the right and did this little
he was just doing it.
Yeah, like, okay, this is what we can see from this guy. So maybe that's hopefully something Slaven Glupo seek to use going forward. Maybe it's just a one-off for this one. I don't know, but yeah,
we'll see.
It's certainly, you look at all the bad decisions we've talked about he's made in the past.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, we're going to talk about it positively this time.
Yeah, they have a big game against Gorica coming up, which obviously are one of their relegation rivals, considering how the season has gone on in the first couple of games. So we'll see if they can, carry this on, and if Kovacic can get his second win.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we mentioned how that result in and of itself obviously is damaging enough for Dinamo, but the real damaging thing for Dinamo came a couple of hours later, in terms of there being another 4-1.
Another 4-1, which was Hajduk. I mean, Bruno Durdov, 16 years old. And just how young he is, not how old. In a short press conference with Hajduk TV after the match, he said, "Yeah, Levi is my idol." I'm like, "There's no way." Oh yeah, Levi came into the club 3 years ago, so he was 13. So it makes sense that he can have an idol at 13.
I like that we've got someone that makes you feel old.
It's I'm starting to get to that age, and I do not like it. I do not like it. Let me say that.
I mean, obviously, I think that particular game is going to be a bit of a turning point for, at both ends of the table. One in terms of Hajduk actually getting a really good win.
Finally playing
impressive. Well. Like I say, Durdov excelling. That's not going to happen every time, but then also from Gorica's perspective, not that they were bad, but to lose Radostovic, and that's for the season because ACL.
Torres ACL ups.
Really problematic for them because I obviously brought on Shigeru as sub goalkeeper. I don't know what's going on with Manic. He was playing pre-season and then he's just disappeared off the face of the
Yeah,
earth.
that also surprised me that Radošić was the one starting this season. So probably doesn't want to extend his contract. That's what I would guess.
Well, they're not going to have a choice but to use him now.
Yeah. So if Ivan Banic, if you want to come back, it's time.
Yeah.
but the problem is he wasn't even on the bench against Hajduk.
No. So that's.
So I doubt that he will come back.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a big downgrade for them.
Yeah.
Going forward, because whoever you're picking as your first choice goalkeeper, they're going to be a bit rusty. So that's something that's going to be a problem. Obviously, Dockett had not injury, but he did have a worry, I think, during.
Yeah, I mean, as soon
well.
as he's on the floor, you're obviously like, oh, please, God, no.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, obviously they've got still bright spots. I mean, obviously, this is a game in which they did take the lead after all, and Piazziti.
Amazing,
amazing.
He
looks very good.
No, yeah. This time I actually focused on it because I one of his first two touches was just like, oh, okay, and then I clearly was just whenever Gorica was in possession, I was paying attention to him, and he only missed I think 2 passes. Yeah, he only missed 2 passes in the whole game.
Yeah, so that's him and Patia as a central midfield partnership. That's by the end of this season, that's probably going to be one of the top 3 or 4 in
a shame he's on loan. A shame that he's on loan, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he'll certainly be getting interest from other clubs by the end of it, no doubt about that.
I mean, let's speak about the goals first of all. So the first goal, obviously, what was it? The third, fourth minute, the fifth minute.
Fifth minute, yeah.
Oremovic goes to make the back pass to Lucic, and just too weak. And Kolar gets to it. Tries to shoot at the goal from a very tricky position. Doesn't even get close to the target. I think the ball would have went for an out if Prpic wasn't there. But obviously Prpic tried to save it, thinking that he's gonna get it on target, and just sadly put it in. So yeah, Gattuso took the blame for that because he's like, I want to play out the back with the goalkeeper, so it's on me. It happens. So yeah,
but they did get the gift back, to be fair.
Yeah, and what I'm surprised by, we still continue to play that way because normally under Gattuso, especially when we concede, we're like, we forget how to play football.
But
we're just like, get the ball, pump it up to Livaja, pump it up to Pukstas, try to do something.
And you have to do that. I mean, you see it in terms of, it is just the repetition of that style of football. And sometimes, if you're not used to playing it, if it's something that is relatively new to you, in terms of sort of as a tactical ask, which it is for Hajduk, it takes you 15-20 minutes to really get your radar in terms of your passing. You do get slackness. It's not. It's neither here nor there. It happens, and like you say, Gattuso was positive about it, but we saw it all bear fruit very quickly.
Yeah, I'm thankful it did, because we continued to play our football. And what happens when you continue to play your style? A 16-year-old gets 2 amazing goals.
Yeah, and that is something that I think I mentioned on here before. How you're using your wide players and full/wing backs. You've got to be able to have options, and we saw it quite a bit from Bjuk and Diallo, who didn't have the best of games, but they were rotating a little bit between who's going in, who's going out, and offering the option, which means that from a defensive structure on that side, it was Piazziti and Mikanovic. Who do you follow? And who do you adjust to? And Mikanovic was exposed by that in this game. Stiglic and less, as the left-sided wing back / centre back, were exposed on that side by it as well, because they didn't.
Yeah, because Melniak always does that. Whatever side he plays on, he just goes inside most of the time.
Yeah, but Durov was was doing that, and obviously, that's where
Yeah,
his goals were coming from. So it really took apart Goretzka's defensive shape. I mean, yeah, some of that you're going to attribute to losing your keeper, to losing a bit of communication, a bit of vision from back there, because that's such a different role to anything else on the pitch.
yeah.
But still, that's not something you'd have prepared for when you're doing the pre-match scouting.
Obviously. What else? Rakitic, absolutely amazing. He made, I think, like 2 clear-cut chances for Levaya, which the goalkeeper both times saved. I forget if it was both times Žiger or one time Radošević and one time Žiger. But yeah, Levaya had 2 great chances, which I mean could have made it 5-1.
Yeah, it's both Giga, I think.
Yeah, could be.
But
But Rakitic just, I mean, every single pass is just on point.
and this is what we've been wanting to see from Hajduk for
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. No, let's just hope we can continue it.
Yeah, it's just an impressive performance. It's not winning a goal. It's not winning a game by a single goal.
Yeah,
because
and holding on to the lead barely.
yeah,
Let's get to the penalty actually. So the third goal was a penalty, which I don't like the decision.
go on.
I don't agree with it. So the ball. So who was the handball? Whoever was Gorica defender. I forget who it is. Just has the arm by their side, but kind of hold. So this is the body. They're kind of holding out the arm like
Yeah.
this.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was sort of that.
Yeah.
Almost like you're doing not an Egyptian pose. But
No, but it's like
not
this.
an unnatural position.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, and
yeah, it's on his body too. He's not like doing this. He's it's on his body right here.
It's slightly out, but rotated rather than
yeah,
rather than a really obvious handball.
And it hits him here. So this is all to the body, and it hits him like here.
Yeah, so just like I say, just on the forearm.
Yeah. But then again, I've lost the whole consensus of what's a handball again. I was just like, is he gonna give it? Oh, they called him back, so probably not gonna. Oh, he still gave it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Levaya got another goal.
Yeah, it's a rule that's applied inconsistently. It's very irritating that it is applied inconsistently because it shouldn't be inconsistent. But
yeah, by the way, UEFA, just to go off topic, UEFA released the other day that the Cucurella handball was a penalty.
Yes.
But wasn't it offside from Fulkrug just before that shot from whoever, I think Cross shot it into Cucurella's arm? Wasn't it offside before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do not understand why they said that's a penalty, because it was offside just 2 seconds before. Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair enough. But still, like 3 months later.
Yeah. Better late than never.
Fair enough, but it's still the wrong decision because it was offside. That's why I always say when I think it was Ivan Radelic, who's now obviously sacked from Slaven after the Hajduk match. He said, "Well, why did they give Hajduk the penalty when the Cucurella handball wasn't given at the Euros? We need some." And I'm like, dude, it was offside. Can we just please stop mentioning the Cucurella handball?
Yeah.
Ever again. But yeah. Back to the match. I mean, we gotta speak about the second goal from Durdov.
Yeah.
Rakitic crosses it in. Levaya chests it down. Just lays it out for Durdov, who just hits it first time. And I mean, what a goal!
Yeah, that's exactly what you want as your first goal, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Second.
Goal, sorry.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to make your mark, if you want to have a performance where I've arrived, it's that, and I particularly like obviously sprints over to Gattuso, McCuddle at the end of it, and Gattuso's just like, push off, go away. I'm talking to everyone else. I'm giving everyone instructions.
Listen, it's an amazing goal. Just do it once again, and then we can maybe chat.
Yeah. You've not scored 3. I'm not that impressed.
I'm not that impressed. You haven't won a Champions League, kid. Okay, pipe down.
Yeah. But I mean, that's exactly almost what you want to see from your manager.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's not someone getting carried away, because at the end of the day, there's a bit, lads. It's Gorica.
Yeah.
You should be beating Gorica reasonably convincingly. So,
Yeah, and they did.
And they did. So there's no point getting carried away. Just accept it and get on with it and do your job. It's a great personal moment for you, but this is, this is what we're paid to do.
Yeah. And the fourth goal, I mean, Levaya, if it was the first goal, the Levaya hasn't been directly involved with for Hajduk this season in the HNL.
And he'll never be involved in one again.
This is it. This is it. Levaya will never again touch the ball in attack.
But I mean, again, it's poor defensively from Gorica in terms of, it's a fluffed clearance.
Yeah, and I think the rest of the defenders are just like, oh, Levi's offside. He's gonna. Oh no, here comes Rakitic, and Rakitic crosses it to Sigur, who gets a bit lucky with the post bounce, which just goes in on the other side. Yeah, and that's an easy 4-1 win for Hajduk ahead of the Adriatic Derby that we have next week. But somehow, so we've jumped straight into Saturday, so we're now gonna jump back instead of going to Sunday.
Yeah,
because Varaždin won once again.
Yeah, and if anything, we've had 2 4-1 games, but if anything, this is probably the clearest difference between two sides of the 3 games so far. Varaždin were miles on top of Istra.
Yeah, but also got a bit lucky because just before the goal, who hit the bar from Istra? I think it was, who was it? Was it Koski? Somebody hit the bar.
Yeah,
from Istra just before the goal.
It was.
It was
78th minute, so it was.
It was.
Book.
Drum roll, please. Who?
Book.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, this was potentially it's because it's Varaždin and how they play. We know they are stuffy. In terms of a lot of their play, but Istra's didn't really break on them much.
No,
they had that chance for Vuk. Obviously good save from that. They had an early chance for Disicha. And that's sort of the only time really they got running in behind Varaždin. Otherwise, they were just dominated.
They were dominated. I mean, Istra didn't really have much to do.
No, and I think 1-0 flattered them. It's a good goal from Belgrade, but I mean, Lakovic should have put them 1 up about 15 minutes before it. Had a chance he should have scored, if we're honest. But yeah, I mean, we know. I think we're probably seeing Varaždin plant their flag for 4th.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that Osijek had a very bad start to the season, and I mean, it just gives more time to Varaždin to gel and get better, and get more games for Dabra to maybe finally score.
Yeah, he's still not doing that.
He just needs that. I mean, he just needs that goal. If they get a penalty, they just need to give it to him, just to get rid of that mental block.
They do, and I mean, I think he's really snatching at chances as well. I mean, he did have one very good chance in this game, and again, just looks very angry with himself for not putting it away, which is what you want to see. You want him still to be getting into the right positions, and
he is,
and he is getting in the right positions. He's just not scoring.
Yeah, and he's not very happy with it, as I think Šibenik also isn't pretty happy with it.
Yeah,
But you just need to just keep playing him and just he'll score eventually. Like there's no way he doesn't.
exactly. And
If he gets going, I mean that's perfect.
yeah, and the amount of chances that they're creating, I mentioned it before, but Jago is having an amazing season
Yeah,
so far. Mitroski not so much in this particular game, but
very good.
if you've got one player who is just, I think he's outperforming Levaya on expected everything at the minute still. So, you've got a guy who's in the hottest streak of his career as your supply route. That's just what you want right now, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously.
So, I think I would hope that they're going to carry it on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why not.
It's Osijek up next for them, which
Yeah,
is, I think, probably if Varaždin can get a result there, not necessarily win because it's at Upper Arena, then you're probably looking at them. I don't want to say favourite to a fourth, but you're going to say there is going to be a real contest for that final, for that fourth spot between them and presumably Osijek.
If Dabra can get firing, I would put Varaždin in front of Osijek for fourth.
Yeah,
if he can get just firing, but then again, we know what he can do. We saw him at Lokomotiva not that long ago.
Yeah.
But it's just if he can finally get that goal and just let it flow, or if he's just gonna have a Ramon Miera season and what was it, 2021, 2022, when he scored just 3-4 goals the whole season. If he So it's either that's gonna happen or he's gonna have an absolutely like 15 plus goal season.
And if that is going to happen, well, at the end of the day, if you've still got cash available, I'd probably be throwing it at Josip Timic and just saying, do you want to train with us, get yourself fit? And if our guy's still not scoring,
yeah, pop in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what else? What would I? Oh yeah, I want to talk about Marina's role, who drops back to make a back three with Nekic and Lamina Ba as the right center back and build up, and that just allows Maglica to just be a winger and allow Mitrovski to just cut in.
Yeah, and that's
and it works.
there. It does work. That's where Mitrovski wants to be. He's not. He's not really pacey. He gets in good positions. That's
and he
all
can
he
shoot.
does. And he can shoot, but he gets he gets in good positions. He's not a great supply line. Weirdly enough. He's just there. He's just a guy. Almost like you pass to and he'll pass back to you, or you pass to him and he'll shoot.
Yeah, something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen. He's not necessarily going to beat a man. He's not necessarily going to put in a wonderful cross or anything. But he's where you expect him to be when you expect him to be.
Yeah, and Latkovic is also. I mean, he's doing nicely. Obviously, missed that big chance, as you said. Čorić is obviously still building up his fitness, I'm guessing, so we'll probably see him soon. So we'll see if Šibenik gives Čorić a game, then Latkovic a game. Just see who can do better.
But Latkovic is, maybe needs a goal, but is making the case that Čorić may.
Yeah.
Just me.
But maybe like in a game against. I mean, not just give Čorić a run, maybe in the cup.
Yeah,
because
it's making it as making Čorić an option and making Latkovic your undisputed guy behind Dabro.
Yeah, and Čorić, I mean, you can put him on the wing if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anything about Istra? I mean, they were defending the most of the game, so.
Yeah. I think again they need a bit of a rethink a little bit in terms of how they deal with this sort of challenge. I think they're so good at having the pace and athleticism that when they are playing someone with a low block that they don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
And Gagwa helped with that when it was on, but
I mean, yeah, we spoke about it a lot last week that
yeah,
he's really the only choice they have.
yeah, they need that option to work better.
Yeah, but the problem is he's barely playing. He's only coming on for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. So maybe that's a selection issue for
Yeah.
Barzani in terms of when he's doing his pre-work. Shift from plan A sooner.
Yeah. Let's move on to Sunday.
Yeah.
Osijek finally beat Lokomotiva away at Zagreb at the Kranjčevićeva after a 6-game run where they didn't beat them away from home.
Yeah, and we're on, I think, another performance where
Osijek... Actually, 7 games. Sorry, it was 7, not 6.
Yeah, I think it's another one, and it seems we've probably said it the past 4 Osijek games, that they're progressively looking slightly worse.
Yeah.
But now they're actually getting results.
Yeah.
So who cares? They were, I don't want to say they were lucky to get away with a win there, but they did have 2 goals. But Lokomotiva did have 2 goals chalked off. So
I mean, the first one was offside so much.
Yeah.
But I really have some questions for the linesman, because Chop was like 2 meters offside. Like, no, like I even hate that they had to draw the lines to show it to us.
Yeah, too much effort for the VAR. But
yeah,
they made the most of their moment later on.
They did. So obviously, I mean, it's the same exact situation as in Osijek, Hajduk Osijek, when Pukta scored, and was it Prpic who I think it was Prpic who jumped for the ball, didn't get close to it, and then Pukstas put it in. This time it was Kollinger who jumped, and it was, I forgot who scored. It was Mudražija that scored on the other side. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
because you thought they were looking for a handball, because he's sort of stooping quite low and kind of just throws himself at the ball rather than making
and from one of the cameras it looks like he goes to do this, like to hit it with his arm. Yeah, but he doesn't. He tries to kind of twist his body, which he does, and gets it in with, I think, his chest. So it wasn't a handball, but I mean, yeah. Richard? Oh, I saw that look, and I'm like, oh, it stopped. Okay, I'll continue talking. I wanted to talk about Adnan Jakirović, who missed an absolute sitter. Took his time, not in a bad way. I'm not saying that in a bad way. He took his time, tried to place the shot, placed it, just didn't score it. But yeah, I mean, it's much. I saw an Osijek fan that said, "Finally, we have a striker who actually thinks about where he's gonna shoot," which was a surprise to the Osijek fans, because before Mieres, whenever he got the ball in front of goal, he was just blast it, just boom. Just don't think, don't look up. Who cares where the goalkeeper is? Just shoot it. And Jakirović is not that kind of striker, but yeah, obviously missed the chance. And I mean, SofaScore here gave him a 5.9, which I think it's a bit harsh. And welcome back.
That was a child. To blame for that bit of technical issues.
Fair enough.
They unplugged something. Well, they unplugged the extender for my internet.
Oh.
So my network literally just went.
Yeah, it's not at the perfect time, because I think it's the exact moment you realized what was happening. You just had the look of, oh shit. Yeah. But yeah, I was talking about Jakirovic's chance.
Yes, that was where I was going to lead on to myself in terms of Makiewicz had a good game.
Yeah, and he was on the right this time.
Yeah, but like you say, that chance where Makiewicz, I mean, it's a strong cross.
Yeah,
I think that would be where I would give Jakirović the benefit of the doubt there. In terms of, I think it comes on so fast, he's not really got much time to react.
Oh, not that chance. I was thinking about the 1-on-1 he had with Šubarić, where he kind of took his time to place it. I mean, that cross from Matkovic, he just blasted it into his face. Jakirović, I don't think he even saw the ball coming.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously just knocks it on the bar. Like, I mean, with Jakirović, I mean, I've said sort of when the signing was a little bit about it. He's a good player, but you've got to use him in the right role. And I think possibly the right role is what they're doing with Matković at the minute for him. But yeah, I mean, again, as we said for Dabra, once he scores, it will come. What I would say is, having watched him for a few seasons now, what Jakirović is traditionally very good at is starting the season very hot and then not. And I think he had, I want to say 6 goals so far this season at Maribor before coming across.
Yeah, he was the top goal scorer in Slovenia.
So now we're at the point where his form does actually traditionally drop off.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Way to spend $1 million.
He came close. He came close to scoring one time, due to a 1-on-1. The second time because he got absolutely blasted into the face with a rocket of a cross. If you can even call it a cross.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a chance. I mean, the problem whenever you get something like that is it was about 3 yards out.
Yeah.
Even if it's smashed really hard into your face, if you're 3 yards out, it doesn't look good when it doesn't go.
It doesn't look good, but I mean, we know why he didn't score because I think he just did this and boom, face, boom, bar.
Yeah.
Literally, you have 9.2 seconds to react, and not even the best F1 drivers can react that fast.
They're too busy swearing.
Yeah. And getting fined for it.
Yeah. They're doing community service. Whatever
exactly. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. 1 day of community service.
Yeah. But yeah. So obviously Hajduk weren't the only team to take advantage of Dinamo slipping up.
No.
We rounded off with Rijeka.
Yeah, Rijeka also very comfortable in their win.
Yeah. Certainly, again, this was the worst we've seen of Šibenik so far this season.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't that bad. It was just, 3rd-minute goal. Fruk immediately just, scores a brilliant goal in the 3rd minute. And you're just like, what do we do now?
Yeah. Well, we did say he was the one who hadn't joined the party this season last week, and now he has joined the party.
Yeah.
I think probably the thing that would, if you've got Rijeka coming up, concern me more is that Andrić scored and Jakirović scored, but they're also, this wasn't Rijeka just banging wonder goals in as
no
did. They actually scored normal people goals.
Yeah, from inside the box twice.
From inside the box. Yeah.
Not once, but twice.
I know they're like the opposite Ruud van Nistelrooy. But if that gets going, then Rijeka will be able to mount a challenge for anyone.
Again,
it's fair to say. Again, and obviously we leave this weekend with both them and Hajduk 4 clear of Dinamo.
Yeah, and so, they're obviously facing each other on Sunday.
Yeah, so there's a good chance, for you to set yourselves as leader and have a lead that will go through the international break as well.
Yeah. What else? Janković played more centrally this time because Rukavina, not Rakovina. What? Why was I gonna say that? Rukavina played on the wing, so I mean, it just suits Janković more. I think it's very visible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it all worked well.
Yeah, they beat them with ease, as we said. 3 goals, nothing. Pasalic got a very good assist after a corner, got the ball back, beat his defender amazingly, put it back to Galicic, who just needs to tap it in.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Easy peasy. And now they face Hajduk. Both sides coming off very strong wins, dominant wins. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they, how Gattuso sets up against Rijeka.
I mean, it'll be interesting. Obviously, the last time Rijeka had a high pressure game, they lost 5-0.
It was 5-0.
And
Dinamo wasn't a high pressure game. Yeah, it wasn't.
yeah, and for Hajduk, okay, yeah, they're coming off 4 win, but that's very unlike the form we've seen from them for the rest of the season. I think it's one, both where it's a big game, but also we don't really know the status of the sides coming into it.
Yeah.
And again, I think a lot of that might be defined by what happens the night before in the Zagreb derby, because if you're coming into it with Dinamo maybe having dropped more points, then
then it's obvious. Then it's obviously, if they, for example, let's say they lose, you can get 7 points on Dinamo already.
you can't pass that chance up.
Yeah. Like 4 points, that's nothing against Dinamo. 7 points, that's something. That's 3 games you need to drop for Dinamo to catch you up.
Yeah, and this is really the first weekend where takeaway high enough Friday. Every game is clearly a big game for various reasons.
Yeah.
Šibenik Istra, you're both going to be mid-table. You're both going to be mid-table.
Probably, yeah.
You might be entertaining, depending on how each side approaches that game. Gorica Slaven on Saturday. Well, that's let's be honest, relegation 6-pointer already. For Dinamo Lokomotiva, it's 1 a derby, but 2.
Not really a derby, but
not really a derby, but yeah, it is by being local.
Going after last season, Lokomotiva against Dinamo, they have a chance.
Yeah,
can they do it again? Can Dinamo, bounce back?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the form makes that one a very interesting game. Osijek Varaždin, as we mentioned, that
obviously
looks like a 4th place playoff, really.
Yeah,
already. Can Osijek continue their revival? I think if they were able to win that, then we'll see them. Then we'll see what they're really made of going on for a few games. And then obviously Rijeka, Hajduk, is top 2.
Yeah.
So
and Rijeka has only conceded 1 goal.
Yeah.
1 goal. Only 1 goal conceded, 15 scored.
Even more stingy than Varaždin, who conceded 2.
But both teams only conceded in 1 half.
Yeah. The difference is Varaždin have only scored 5, Rijeka have scored 15. But maybe Rijeka were just saving all their goals conceded for the Conference League.
They took the allocation out in just 1 match.
Well, yeah, let's not say anything about their allocation in that particular game.
Yeah.
I think they've also probably got something to do with, because we'll shift on to Nations League. Because as you mentioned, the team's out. Marko Pasalic isn't there.
Yeah, but Mislavocic, who's just come back for the injury.
And I mean, obviously we don't watch Turkish Super League because, come on.
He's only played
he's played more than 45 minutes once.
Yeah. But he's also gotten injured again.
Mm-hmm.
No, not a big injury. He's gonna be out for a week, 2 weeks tops. So he can play for Croatia, but again, he's not gonna be in not tip-top form. Perisic is in again, which it's Dalic, so I'm not really surprised. But he finally has a club, but still he hasn't played a game in a month and a half.
Yeah, and it strikes me a little bit. This is obviously both with Perisic and with Orsic, that maybe Dalic is being a little bit too loyal. I can understand why you give Orsic. Sorry, I can understand why you keep Perisic on. Fair enough.
Yeah,
senior figure. He's got a new club. It's still a bit TBD. For Orsic, you actually, even when you sort of go and look, how's he been performing? Not very well.
Oh, because it's just he literally just came back.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to have that justification for me for that one, and to not have Marko Pasalic, to not have Toni Fruk.
Yeah.
In that side before him.
Especially Marko Pasalic, because on the right we have nobody. You have nobody on the right. If you're gonna continue with the 3 at the back, then you're probably stuck with Piazza playing, or Christian Jakic, which not the greatest choices.
And I think it's fair to say from the squad they clearly are sticking with 3 at the back.
Yeah.
I think the only other change is, is very inconsequential. It's Ivic back for Labrovic as well.
Yeah, Labrovic just hasn't had a great start to life at Augsburg.
Yeah, but I mean, this squad is more than good enough to beat the sides that are in front of it. Again, obviously talk about Osijek, it's splitting hairs really.
Yeah.
It's one pick we don't agree with against a side that will surely beat Scotland and beat Poland.
Hopefully. We should be.
Would expect so, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Scotland will win because I'm not watching it. I'm watching the rugby that's on at the same time. So that's guaranteed. I'm not watching. Scotland will win.
Fair enough. And also, just to shortly mention, on the standby call-ups, we have Dominik Prpic, who's obviously been great for Hajduk so far this season.
Yeah, and it's great to see that younger generation brought through already. And it needs to have that transition, really, this squad.
Yeah, and he's also, he's left-footed. So if anything happens to Guardiol, like it did to Rodri this weekend in the game against Arsenal, which I hope to God it doesn't happen to Guardiol or Kovacic. But if, let's say, an injury happens and Guardiol misses the last international break of this year, give some minutes to Prpic.
You have a natural there.
You have a left-footer, left-sided center back. Just give him a run. We're most likely not going to have anything to lose if we beat Scotland and Poland in this international break.
Exactly. And
so,
again, it's Scotland and Portugal in last one. So you should be looking at least 3 points.
Yeah.
We know in which game I'm talking about, obviously.
We do.
Yeah. But yeah. Is there anything else?
No, I mean, we are perfect on time because you need to go in a minute. So
I think we should just follow on from last week's conversation. It's just on my own thoughts. I listened to Sabrina Carpenter's album. I thought she's a very horny lady.
Yeah. If he thought Chapel Horny was horny, no. Sabrina is.
Yeah, I was. A lot of the lyrics were quite.
Yeah, very to the point, very direct.
Very direct, and very much like I feel she doesn't quite understand the concept of camaraderie.
Yeah, she's, if to put it in football terms, she is, how will you put it, Sean Dyche, Sam Allardyce.
I think I would say she doesn't want it short and sweet.
No, she doesn't like tiki taka, ladies and gentlemen. She doesn't like tiki taka, ladies and gentlemen. She does not love it.
Route 1.
All right, let's end it off on there.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Completely forgot about Sabrina Carpenter, short and sweet. But this episode was not as short and sweet. It was, it was an average one.
Yeah, we aim to be mediocre.
Yeah, and we always are.
We always are.
Yeah. So we are the Slaven Belupo of podcasts. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.